4-yard runs.
Yeah, and don't let Nassib get out of the pocket. Willis has tattooed Flacco, Rustin's quarterback twice. Oh, really?
Oh
Labatt
no,
Blue?
no,
You
that's the
guys see me,
collarbone
right?
made of paper mache. He will not leave the pocket.
I know.
So you
Well, he
guys,
kept running read option on me. That's what he gets.
you
Mhm.
guys see me, right? Can you hear
We
me?
see you.
We see you. All
Yeah,
right,
so you can hear
host,
me.
we
Okay.
live. You the host. Let's get it started.
Awesome. Let's get it started. So welcome to the second annual, or whatever you on a weekly thing. Never go weekly, so that's cool. Whatever. But welcome. So we actually have the second Jew and two live Jew and a black dude. That's great to see. Welcome, Brett. Welcome.
Thank
It's
you.
having
Thank you.
it's been tough to get everyone's schedule right, but we finally got it. That's great to see. I'm really happy. I'm really love to get everyone back together. So that's great to see. So I have a couple topics. I want to talk about the playoffs, like top six in every conference. So just normal. The MVP, and I would like to talk about our three surprises. We all have three surprises that we want to talk about. So let's start with the playoffs. We'll start with the AFC, then we'll go all three of our AFC, and then we'll go to the NFC or whatever. So we'll start with the dominant AFC conference because you guys know that we all are dominant, right?
Yeah, dominant.
So we'll start with the top and work down. So I'm gonna say my top team we're the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs. They've proven they can beat the Broncos. They've proven that they can win. They're 12-1 now, but they're my number one team. So that's who I got. Who you guys got at number one? Anybody special?
What are we doing? The top for the league or the playoffs?
We'll just do the top for the playoffs. Top six. We're in that time of the year that we're going to go to top for the playoffs.
Well, the Chiefs are running away with it. They, since I kind of went rough on them the last episode, they kind of showed up. So it's got to be the Chiefs right now. Number one. Number two, I'm gonna go. I think the Jets. They lost a close one to the Chiefs yesterday. So
Definitely, I agree though. They're still number two
yeah,
team in the AFC though.
the Jets are gonna. I think they're right there. I think the next it's got to be the Jags at 8-4. I mean, the rest of that is
Really?
all muddled now. It's all muddled mess. I don't know
Yeah.
who
Really?
to pick.
Because my number three team, they're Jaguars. I feel like the Jaguars have the offense. If they can win out the rest of the year, they'll win that conference or that division. I feel like the Jaguars are my team though, in that muddled mess of the AFC South.
Yeah, it's just a muddle. But I told you last episode I'm not betting against Doug, so I'm not doing
Can
it.
I interject here with some controversy?
Sure.
Go ahead,
Here
Mr.
we go.
NFC.
Here we go.
All right. Well, first of all, I think we know that. I mean, I can't argue with the Chiefs, but Sam Bradford was hurt today in the game versus the Jets. So you have the two teams in the AFC West. The Broncos don't have Peyton Manning for 7 more weeks, and now the Chiefs lost their quarterback Sam Bradford and Chase Daniels the backup, and I don't know if he's going to be able. I mean, they'll have probably the top seed locked up, but he could miss 1 week of the playoffs perhaps. So we'll see how that affects them. My number 2 team in the AFC is actually number 6 right now. I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans.
Whoa.
I watched their game yesterday. I like their offense. We've had some issues in the past. I've certainly been no stranger to calling teams out if I feel like they need to mix things up. So I've talked to Stacy and he talked back and we had a discussion. And I think he's got some deep threats. He's got a really good running back and he hasn't had any injuries. And his defense is better than I thought. And I really saw him dominate the first game against the Jaguars. So I think even though he's 6, he could very easily jump to number 2 in the next couple of weeks. And I think he'll be a surprise team.
I can see that. I really could.
I have to say that's a real surprise. I mean, Stacey, I think he's a much improved player. He got his team where he wanted them. I'm with you on mixing it up. I want to see some more from that defense. But he did look really good yesterday in this game, especially on the offensive side of the ball, running it. So I could see that, but I can't see him if he has to go into Kansas City, if he has to play Doug on the road, if he has to play the Jets on the road.
Come on, buddy.
I,
Move along.
I don't. I can't see him beating any of those teams on the road. Any of those teams on the road. What do we got going on here?
That's my cat. I'm sorry. I got animals everywhere. I got a baby.
You see the tail? He agrees with everything I'm saying right now.
So who is your guys' surprise AFC team? Who do you guys think that's going to be that team at the end? That's going to like dominate through playoffs the rest of the season. Got 3 weeks left. Who you guys taking? Who you guys taking?
Oh man, Brett.
All right, I'll go first. The two teams that are standing out to me right now that are kind of off the radar a little bit, Tim's Jets are very dangerous. He's going to get Nick Foles back next week. His defense is very good, even though his secondary is not. He has got a great defensive line, really good linebackers, and in watching his game today, he's got a lot of trick plays, a lot of sweep motion, but when he gets Foles back, I think he'll have a bit more of a deep threat there. And, I mean, I can't ignore the surging Cleveland Browns because the AFC North is up for grabs.
That's what he was looking for.
Yes, that was a question.
And he's been steamrolling running on the ground. And I think if he can avoid having to throw more than he said earlier, 20 passes a game, he's got three really good corners. And if he gets a lead, teams have to pass against him. That plays right into his hands. He can wear teams down, run behind Joe Thomas, and you got to look out.
Definitely. I agree. I mean, that was where I was going with the whole conversation. I wanted you guys to admit that the Cleveland Browns had the opportunity now from being 6-7 to making the playoffs. If I make the playoffs, watch out.
Well, when you play in the weak AFC, anyone can make the playoffs in the AFC. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm pretty sure the Texans and the Chargers didn't, but we're just going to go with that.
The Chargers are still hanging on.
I was talking about the Brett Stein Chargers, but
hey, I made the playoffs 1 year, 2 games ago.
I think you made it the last year with the Chargers.
Hey, I had to rebuild that team from scratch. All right.
Definitely. Well, my surprise team. My surprise team in AFC is, I mean, you got to go with I'm going to stick with the AFC North. The Cincinnati Bengals, they were bad last year. Ali himself challenged Greg Smith to do something with the Bengals, and he's done. He did it. He's 6-6. Like, who expects a 6-6 team to do it? But his defense, his offense is scoring enough points to win the game. And I'm going to go with the Bengals. I feel like the Bengals are that surprise team. They were pretty bad last year. They weren't great, and they're in the race right now. The AFC North went from having a 13-3 team as a top team to having a 6-6. So they're doing something. They're playing defense. They're playing special teams. They're playing all three phases of the game. I feel like the Cincinnati Bengals are that team.
I agree. I guess my surprise team, I'm going to have to stick with the Browns as well, but on the other end of being 6-7. I thought that team after last year and trading away their AFC Player of the Year was confident enough to be much better. But they got you guys got a tough schedule coming up. You got 3 straight teams and top 10 defenses. So I don't know how many runs Ja'Quay Rodgers got in him. He's already got 80% of my entire season in 2 games. This is just ridiculous. But I'm going to say the Browns. If they get in the playoffs, they'll be tough. But
the Cleveland Browns, we traded for a whole bunch. We traded Tippy Toes Tate. Got that trade out the way. And then we made some storyline that we made up with we got Jimmy Johnson in as our player personnel. We got Jeff Fisher as our coach. Got rid of Mike Pettin. That's cool. We got a storyline. We got that storyline that we need as a Cleveland Browns dynasty that we're going to bring here.
Well, let's work it.
We got that, and now we're doing it. We got 3 games left, and I feel like honestly we can win all 3 games. We need to win 2 of them though. We need to win 2 of those games. and I'm going to win the game against Rustin, that guy right in that little corner right there, Mr. Brett Stein, struggled with last time. I'm going to win Week 17.
Oh,
I'll beat Greg Smith Week 17 if you beat Rustin Week 17. Is that a deal?
Hey, that's a deal.
All right.
Handshake on that shit.
All right.
That works for me. Hell yeah.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
All right, let's go to the NFC, though. Really, the NFC is, I'm about to say I'm a AFC all the way. But the NFC, they have a better conference. We all know that. They all know the NFC's got a better conference. So my number one team, which I feel like everybody's number one team, is, I hate to say it, Mr. Ollie Drew. Mr. Ollie Drew.
Say it.
Everybody knows that, though. Everybody knows it. He's got a big game, though, coming against the Philadelphia Eagles. Brett, what do you think about that? Brett, do you think he's going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles?
You know, I'm looking forward to this rematch. Sean's had Ali's number in the past, but Ali won the first game when I think Sean had his quarterback was hurt. A few other guys were hurt, or they just came back. So I think it'll be a bit of a revenge match. I look for some back and forth. You know, Ali's been passing all over the place, and Sean's got the top rushing attack in the league. So I think it's going to come down to who can execute end of half, end of the game, and also who can exert the will on offense and possess the ball, because Ali's defense is tough, especially at the cornerback position and pass rush. And Sean his defense isn't as well known, but he's got some pass rushers, he's got some pretty solid players in there, and he tries to move people around before the snap, try and confuse the other team. So I'm looking for whoever can force the other team to play out of their comfort zone to take this game tonight.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, they have LaShawn McCoy. He's got 190 yard rushing attempts, which is crazy because everybody else has like 200 plus for the same amount of yards. So he's killing it. He's got 6.3 yards a carry. That's outrageous. So I mean, if Ali could stop that this week, I feel like that's Ali's conference. You can understand maybe he might come up in the NFC Championship game, but I feel like this is Ali's conference to win, and there's no way about it. It's his conference to win.
And if he beats Sean, that'll make it much tougher for Sean to get a wild card spot, because that forces him to basically win out to battle Rustin for that last spot in the NFC there, because obviously no one from the South is doing anything but the division winner, much like real life. The NFC South is a total wasteland, especially Jamie Soule, who doesn't play defense and makes ridiculous trades. All right.
Well, it should be a good game. Our games are always back and forth. It's always, other than last year's first game, which was a blowout, there's always one or two plays. In our first game, it was 2 kick returns by David Wilson that made the difference.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be it's going to be back and forth, and then there's going to be one play. If he makes it, he'll win. If I make it, I'll win. A la interception on the slant pass. Oh.
Let it go. Last year. All right, distant memory.
It still hurts, though. It still hurts.
All right. You want to go to some surprise teams in the NFC? Because, I mean, there's a couple of guys I haven't played yet that I see. I mean, obviously, Tad and the Cowboys are 9-4. He's lost DeMarco Murray for the year. Romo's been playing. His rookie's been playing. I know he beat Ali. All right, Cat, get out of here. He's definitely surprised, and I haven't played him yet, so he's definitely one of the guys up there. And as much crap as I give Jamie, he's still 8-5. He still has to win those games. And it looks like, barring a total collapse, he's going to get into the playoffs. And when you've got Demaryius Thomas and Brandon Cooks and Jimmy Graham and Drew Brees, anything can happen.
See, I feel like that's where my surprise comes in. And Ali called Jimmy Moore out a couple weeks ago and said, Jimmy, start playing better. And I feel like he has. I feel like Jimmy could honestly win that division championship. I feel like Jimmy has the skill, Jimmy has the experience in this league to do that, and I feel like that's going to be Jimmy's conference. Or I honestly think Cam Newton could take Jimmy all the way. Cam Newton might have it's like 45 interceptions of the last year, but I have no idea why he throws that many picks. But I'm going to go with Jimmy as my surprise in NFC.
Well, I'm going to go with I hate to say Dallas because I really hate them so much in real life. But but I'm going to jump on the bandwagon in Dallas again, especially if they make the playoffs, which it looks like they will. Um, they're tough. I played Tad. He's one of those guys. He wants to play defense and run the ball, and that's what he does. And then if you add Des Bryant to that, he's just really gonna go over top of you if you try to stop the run. So he's got a really really good team, and I think as bad as Dallas has been in OFG for years, this is a shot at you, John Reed. I think he's got that team playing well. I wouldn't want to play him in the first round. I'm not sure who. That's probably the one first round team I wouldn't want to play in the first round if I had to play him in the wild card.
I feel like Dallas took you to the brink, and it's hard to take you to the brink. And
Yeah.
I feel like Dallas is that team that could win that conference. They could be the surprise NFC team just because they have all those skill players. They have everybody. They have what you need to win, and I feel like that's what's going to get you that conference.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I always go with teams that don't have great players, and Dallas doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
They've been without their
Yeah,
starting back for a couple weeks, and he's still winning. So that means he knows what he's doing, play calling wise, which makes him that more dangerous.
Definitely. I feel like the 49ers, though. Let's talk about them. Who are these 49ers? He took his talent to San Diego. He took his talent to Houston. He was going to start at the St. Louis Rams, and then he just magically switched over to the best defensive team in the game. That's another one of my surprise teams. The San Francisco 49ers. I would love to hear what Brett has to say about those San Francisco 49ers.
Well, a couple of things were appealing. I always seem to end up with a team that runs a 3-4 defense, which San Diego does, which Houston does. But I always end up in a team with kind of a run-first, mediocre passing offense. So it fits my style of play. And when I looked at it, when I knew Keelan wasn't going to be joining us, did I want to have some other owner come in and take the team with the best defense in the league, or did I want to switch over and block someone good from taking a really talented team? So while I have my issues on offense, especially passing the ball, I've shown some improvement. And, to give myself a little bit of credit, it is not easy to run with Carlos Hyde, who has 85 speed. You have to be extremely patient.
That's zooming.
He's 5 points slower than my tight end. All right. So it's been good. I've won a lot of close games. I've had some fortunate breaks. Obviously I won our week one. You hit a field goal off the upright in overtime. I had a game where we did a restart versus the Vikings. I had to give them the 14 points back. Then I got a 10-point lead, and then I lost in overtime. I beat Rustin by a point in our first matchup. So I've had some fortunate bounces. But mainly, I try to beat myself. My defense will make plays, and I try to turn it over. I think I've got a league-leading 35 interceptions. So that's the story of my team. And the secondary has been an issue. I give up a lot of passing yards, but I get the turnovers. So that's kind of where it's at. And, just good bounces. I don't score a ton of points, put up a ton of yards, but I find a way to win.
Good bounces. I know what a good bounce is. That's not what I had in week one.
Where's your kicker? What's he doing these days?
Oh, he got released. He got released. The guy I picked up, though, he's not doing bad, though. He's not doing that bad. So.
Oh, wow. Well, the 49ers aren't a surprise to me. I picked Brett. Told him he was the second in our top rankings in the first show. I had him second in the entire league. Defenses, I played him twice last year, and I can attest to the defense. If he had any amount of offense in our 2 games, he would have beat me. The defense, I couldn't run, you can't pass. It's a tough. Well, you can pass if you get the ball off. Alden Smith just destroyed my tackle in our games. But the 49ers, if he can get the offense going, and he's got some pieces, if Stills gets over top, I think he should get Vernon Davis the ball a little bit more. But they're tough. They're still I'll say third. Chiefs have moved up to second, but they're still very tough. those turnovers make the difference. You know, we talked earlier today. The statistical numbers don't match your record. You're in the bottom half in offense, bottom half in defense if you don't count, if you add in the fact you're 29th in pass. But that's because your defense is going to give up some plays, but you're going to get a couple of interceptions. And your style, that's perfect. So you get the turnovers, you control the clock, the game is yours in the first half. And with that defense, it's all day with that. So, yeah, I'm not surprised about the 49ers.
All right, so I'm going to go with we're going to go with MVP now. Who top three? Who's your top three MVPs? Because in my top three, I'm going to go with Cordell Patterson, the wide receiver for Vikings. He's got 1,429 yards receiving, 15 touchdowns. That's fantastic. I'm going to go with LaShawn McCoy, they're doing the same thing he did last year. I mean, there's no surprise there. He's got 199-yard carries for crazy amount of yards, 6.3 yard average, 12 touchdowns. And then we're going to go back to the same guy I had in the last time. I'm going to go with the Giants quarterback, Ali's quarterback right there, with almost 3,000 yards passing, with 28 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. The interception compared to touchdown rating is just outrageous to me. Like, that's in a Madden rating, that's bad. Like, really, really damn good. So those are my top three. So I figured we'll ask you guys who your guys' top three is. We'll start with whoever wants to go first.
I have to go and play my big game versus Sean. So I'm
definitely.
A little bit. But top three's got to be Ryan Nassib. I mean, come on, eight interceptions after 11 games in this league is insane. 28-8, 70% passing, just insane. It's got to be Ryan Nassib. Matter of fact, I'm going to pick him number 2 too. He's my number 2 guy. So Ryan is number 1, Nassib is number 2. No, my number 2 guy has to be Teddy Bridgewater too. You got to go with the quarterback position is not easy, especially this year, and he's got a couple of interceptions up there. But when he's swinging it,
you mean like 30? You got like 30 picks. It seems like
you got 20 interceptions. Wait, let me see, 22 interceptions. That's a lot. But his team is 10-2, so it's not necessarily killing him. It's not necessarily killing him. And also, especially when you have your receiver has almost 1,500 yards, or 1,429 at this point. You know, that's pretty amazing. And then LaShawn McCoy, who I think since Sean has had the Eagles in the 2 years, last Madden and this version, he's been in the play MVP, I think, every year almost when he's healthy. And he's in there. He's my number 1 focus when I play Sean. I feel like, I think anybody feels the same. If you stop LaShawn McCoy, you can beat Sean. I think that's an MVP. So those 3 guys, I would have to say, would be my MVP.
Definitely. Mr. Brett Stein, what would you like to bring this conversation?
I think I'd put McCoy number 1 because he lost his quarterback for like 4 or 5 weeks. And like you said earlier in the show, he's the only guy in the top 5 of rushing with less than 200 carries. He leads the league in yards per carry and rushing yards. He's every team's that plays the Eagles first person to stop, and he's still putting up, incredible numbers and is keeping his team alive almost single-handedly for a wild card spot. I'll go with Ryan Nassib number 2 because Ali's struggles running the ball this year have been very noteworthy. But at 11-1, Nassib's putting up incredible numbers. He's got some good receivers. Even teams know he's going to pass. He's still getting the job done, and not just yards and touchdowns, but very low interceptions, very high completion percentage, and he's doing it without Odell Beckham being rated anywhere near what he's going to be in next year's game, obviously. So I have to give him credit for that. And number 3, I'm probably going to give it to – this is tough.
Jacquizz Rodgers.
I don't think so. I'm probably going to go with. I'll keep it all in the NFC East. I'll go with Des Bryant because that team has no less of a running game now. Bryant had like 5 touchdowns in a game, and that team's 9-4 primarily because Bryant's even when he's double team, triple team, he's still coming down with the ball and keeping that team going on offense. A run first team, but Bryant's putting up incredible numbers and really helping that team get to a 9-4 record.
I agree. Except for the whole
I'm
job.
going to go play my game.
Definitely.
So
it was a good week this week. We're gonna try to do it every week. We're gonna try to do that. So we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, Giants Eagles going live.
Thanks, guys. Go Eagles. No, I'm kidding.
Let's go.